Hey everyone, good day. How is your day going? Mine is going very well. I hope yours is going well as well. So 3 days ago, I was studying the book of Ruth, and something struck me. Not something, a lot of things. Um, that's why I'm sharing this video. Talk to someone out there, encourage someone that needs to hear this. Studying that book, it taught me three things: that there is the wrong way, the right way, and there is the God's real way. I'll say that again. There is the wrong way, there is the right way, and there is the God's real way. Now, the book of Proverbs 14:12, it says that there is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end is destruction. There is a way that seems right unto a man, but the end is destruction. We all know the story of Ruth, Naomi, and Orpah, how their husbands died, and how Naomi wanted to go back to her hometown, and Ruth and Orpah decided they were going to follow her, but Naomi told them not to go with her, that they should go back to their hometown, which was Moab. She was able to convince Orpah, but Ruth stood her ground. Now, there was nothing wrong in what Orpah did. She did what every other person would have done. There is nothing binding you and this woman, you and your late husband's family together. So there was no reason to stay back. So there was nothing wrong in her leaving. And again, if Ruth had followed her back to Moab, there would have been nothing wrong she would have, there would have been nothing wrong in her leaving with Orpah back to Moab. But there is something, you can be right and still not be operating in the will of God. The fact that you're right does not mean you are in the will of God. So in every of our endeavors, in whatever situation we find ourselves in, we should always try to ask God for his own opinion. Always ask God for help. We should not lean on our own understanding. The Bible says, lean not on your own understanding, but acknowledge God in all of your ways. He did not say some of your ways. He said all of your ways. Whatever thing, no matter how little it is, acknowledge God in all of your ways. Now imagine if Ruth had joined Orpah, left with Orpah to Moab. She would have missed out on what God had planned for her. She followed Naomi, got married to Boaz. They gave birth to Obed. Obed gave birth to Jesse. Jesse gave birth to David. And I know a lot of us do not know that Orpah gave birth to Goliath, and David killed Goliath. And it was in Ruth's lineage that Jesus came out from. So I'm very sure if Ruth had left with Orpah, she wouldn't have fulfilled that purpose, that destiny that the Lord that the Lord has set for her. So that's why we should always try our best to ask God for help, even when it looks like this is something I can use my common sense to do. This world, the things of this world is beyond the physical. We should not always use our eyes. We should not use our physical eyes to see things. We should not use our physical eyes to see things. We should use our spiritual eyes to see things, because there is always something. There's always something that the Lord is always saying. There's something that the Lord is always saying in every situation. So what is the will of God for our lives? What is that will of God for our lives? That will of God God's will for our lives, sometimes it cannot be comfortable. Orpah chose a comfortable route, a familiar route. God's will, sometimes they are not comfortable, they are not familiar, but we still choose to trust him. We still choose to trust him because he is God. We still choose to trust him because he is God. And there was something again too that struck me in that book. How was Ruth able to stand her ground, knowing that she had never been to this place? She had never been to Bethlehem. She had never been to this place, and her family, she had her family in Moab. So why didn't she just follow Orpah back to a familiar place, like where she grew up in? But she decided to follow Naomi. And I realized that Naomi was living a lifestyle that was worthy of emulating. What am I trying to say? If we say we are Christians, our words, our appearance should also say it. People should be able to differentiate us with the world. There should be a difference when they see us and the world. We shouldn't just say it with our mouth that we are Christians and we're not living it. So this is just to encourage us that whatever thing we do, we should always seek God first. Seek God first. Know what the Lord is saying. If it is His will, we should stop judging things based on our own understanding, based on logic. We should stop judging things based on logic. Look very well. Ask God for help. He's always there to help us, especially when it comes to decision making. He's always there to help us.